Meow, I'm Huples Cat. There's a ton of information on the book about building shelters and the effects of hypo and hypothermia and how to deal with them. But if you are at risk from either hypo or hypothermia in a disaster, your prepping planning has gone very, very badly wrong. You prep and you act and you get stuff to avoid being at risk. Getting hypo or hypothermia puts you at risk of death. Try to avoid it. Now, I believe shelter after oxygen is the most critical survival need that most people would face, yet most people will focus on security and or food. Now, it does depend on the local weather because water might be the most critical thing after oxygen if it's very, very hot. In my opinion, rather than chopping down wood or finding wood and lashing together wood together to make temporary shelters, which aren't going to work very well, I think you should focus more on getting shelter that you can carry with you or entering shelter that's around you. I think you need to specifically train to get into shelter. I think you need to train in all weathers to get into shelter, and I think you need to buy much better shelter gear. Really look at ultralight gear, look at winter camping gear or desert survival gear. Get top-notch shelter gear. If you ever have to use it, you'll be very happy. And of course, you are out there camping in all weathers, so it's going to get some use anyway. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. In most seasons, if I try to build a functional shelter in Canada to prevent rain and wind from getting on me in a survival situation, I will have to expend a huge amount of calories and time to do so. There he goes. I'm really happy we made this, and I'm really glad that we did, because it really needs a lot more work than what we did on it, and we did a lot of work on it. So as a survival shelter, this is a definite zero. Buy and carry an ultralight tent. Don't be fooled by thinking baby bag's going to work. Don't be fooled by thinking tarps work. In most areas I've mentioned before, especially near towns and rivers, you're going to be able to find small buildings which you can easily break into so you can sleep in there. These are used for utilities. A small crowbar will get you in. As I mentioned before, there is a fair amount of repetition in this book, and the border between urban and wilderness is very blurred at times. In the wilderness section on page 178 to 181, Selko and Gowan talk about urban shelters. I believe they implied but meant to say but did not say that all shelters that you're going to occupy in a disaster need to have 2 or more exits, or you will be easily trapped and will die in there if there's a fire or from violence. Something that was overlooked in urban survival, and I figured it might appear in wilderness survival because there is some blaring going on, but it has not appeared, is the availability and use of light urban industrial areas and large office towers. These can be used for both resources and shelter. Several months after the complete fall of society and there's been desperate looting, both of these areas will probably be great for hidden sheltering and also have lots of in and out areas so you will not be trapped. Doodles! This has been a Wolfie Terrier production and a Gracie Cat production 2025.